My name is Isabelle Martinez and I've been the family embarrassment since I was 23. That's when I got pregnant during my final semester at UCLA. My father used the word ruined 3 times in the first conversation. My sister said nothing. He didn't have to. The invitation arrived on a Tuesday afternoon in October. Cream cardstock with embossed gold lettering. Dad's 60th birthday celebration at the Montecito Resort, November 12th at 7 p.m. Black tie optional. Wine cellar dinner for 24 guests. At the bottom in Victoria's sharp handwriting, adults only, don't bring your drama. I stood in my kitchen and read it twice. My daughter Maya was watching cartoons in the living room. 7 years old. Dark curls like mine. Brown eyes that saw everything. She'd never been to one of Dad's events. Not once in her entire life. I texted Victoria, got the invitation. Her reply came in under a minute. Good. Just to clarify, Isabelle, we don't need your childcare drama at Dad's celebration. Marcus's fiancée is a pediatric surgeon at Cedar-Sinai. We're announcing her fellowship match. The guest list is very selective. Very curated. I stared at the words. Childcare drama. As if my daughter was a problem to be managed. As if her existence was an inconvenience. I typed back, understood. I didn't tell her I was reading her message from my office. I didn't tell her the Montecito Resort had been mine for 3 years. I didn't tell her the wine cellar she was so excited about cost me $340,000 to install. I didn't tell her I'd personally selected every bottle of wine they'd be drinking. I set my phone down and looked out the window. The Pacific stretched flat and silver to the horizon. Waves rolled in steady rhythm. Maya appeared in the doorway. Mom, can we get pizza tonight? I smiled at her. Sure, baby. Whatever you want. I bought the Montecito Resort in March 2019 for $4.2 million. 14 guest rooms. Ocean view from every window. Original 1920s architecture with modern renovations I'd overseen myself. Teak floors. Marble bathrooms. A wine cellar I'd built from scratch. It was my 14th property. I owned 6 boutique hotels across Southern California. 4 mixed-use buildings in San Diego. 2 beach cottages in Laguna Beach that I rented to tech executives on sabbatical. An apartment complex in Pasadena that I'd purchased when Maya was 18 months old with money I'd saved working 80-hour weeks as a leasing agent. My family knew none of this. They knew I worked in real estate. They thought that meant I showed studio apartments to college students for $45,000 a year. They knew I drove a 2009 Honda Civic with 140,000 miles on it. They knew I lived modestly, dressed simply, didn't take vacations. They'd never asked for details. I'd never offered them. The truth is, I liked it that way. Their assumptions protected me. As long as they thought I was struggling, they didn't ask questions. They didn't want to know. And I didn't have to perform success for people who'd already decided I was a failure. I started building my portfolio when Maya was 2 years old. I was working at a commercial real estate firm in Century City, closing lease agreements for strip malls and office parks. I was good at it. Really good. Good enough that my boss, Patricia Huang, pulled me aside one afternoon and asked if I'd ever considered buying property myself. With what capital? I'd said. She smiled. Wine. I'll back your first building. 50-50 split. You find it, manage it, prove you can turn a profit. I provide the financing. The first property was a 4-unit apartment complex in Koreatown. We bought it for $890,000. It needed work. Significant work. I renovated 3 of the 4 units myself on weekends while Maya napped in a playpen in the corner of whatever room I was working on. I learned to tile bathrooms. I learned to install light fixtures. I learned to negotiate with contractors who thought a single mother with a baby didn't understand leverage or profit margins. We sold it 11 months later for $1.3 million. Patricia handed me a check for $205,000. My half of the profit. She looked me in the eye and said, "Want to do it again?" By the time Maya started kindergarten, I owned 3 buildings outright. By the time she turned 7, I had 14 properties and a net worth of $4.7 million. My family knew I worked in property management. They assumed that meant I collected rent checks and called plumbers when toilets broke. They assumed I lived paycheck to paycheck in a studio apartment somewhere in the valley. I never corrected them. 10 days before Dad's party, Victoria called me. "Quick question," she said. No greeting. No small talk. Do you know any good caterers? Affordable but not embarrassing. I open my laptop. What's the occasion? Marcus and I are hosting a dinner party next month. The last caterer we used charged an absolutely insane amount. I need someone good but reasonable. I pulled up my vendor list. The Montecito's executive chef Andre did private events on his nights off. What's your budget? Maybe $2,000? For 12 people. Try Bellamy and Rhodes in Santa Monica. They're excellent and they work in that range. Perfect. Thanks. Pause. You're still not coming to Dad's thing, right? The invitation said adults only. Right. Yeah. It's just, you understand it's easier this way, right? The venue alone is incredibly expensive. The wine cellar costs more than you probably make in a year. It's a very specific crowd. Very curated. Marcus's fiancée's parents are flying in from Boston. Her father is chief of cardiothoracic surgery at Mass General. Everything has to be absolutely perfect. I looked at the Montecito's financial dashboard on my screen. October revenue, $287,340. Occupancy rate, 92%. I'm sure it'll be beautiful, Victoria. It will. We spared no expense. This is Dad's milestone birthday. He deserves the best. He does, I said. She hung up without saying goodbye. I sat there for a long moment staring at my laptop screen. The wine cellar reservation was listed under Victoria Martinez. Party of 24. Premium service package. Extended sommelier consultation. Private musician. Estimated bill, $8,200. I closed my laptop. November 12th arrived cold and bright. Marine layer burned off by 9 a.m. I spent the morning reviewing contractor bids for a property I was acquiring in Palm Springs. A 12-unit complex with good bones but outdated interiors. Numbers worked. Location was solid. My property manager, Luis Ochoa, knocked on my office door around noon. Luis had been with me since the Koreatown building. He was 43, former Marine, and the most competent person I'd ever met. He knew everything about my business. He knew everything about my family situation. Your father's party is tonight, he said carefully. I know. In our wine cellar. I know. He sat down across from me. What do you want to do? Treat them like any other reservation. Premium service. Everything they paid for. Isabelle. I'm serious, Luis. They paid for an experience. Give it to them. Gregor on sommelier duty. The quartet I hired for ambience. The full menu. Perfect execution. And if they ask about the owner? I met his eyes. Tell them the truth. He studied me for a long moment. You're sure about this? No. But I'm doing it anyway. He nodded and stood. Hey. I'll make sure everything's perfect. I spent the afternoon with Maya. We ordered room service. Mac and cheese with broccoli for her, Caesar salad for me, and watched a movie in the presidential suite. She curled up against me on the white couch, her small warm weight familiar and grounding. Halfway through the movie she looked up at me. Mom. Yeah, baby. Are you sad today? I looked down at her. Why would you think I'm sad? You have that face. What face? The one you get when Aunt Victoria calls. I kissed the top of her head. I'm not sad. I'm exactly where I want to be. With me. With you. She smiled and turned back to the movie. At 6:30 p.m. I called the babysitter. Maria arrived at 6:45, a nursing student from Pepperdine who watched Maya twice a week. Reliable, kind, and Maya adored her. I paid her $35 an hour, which was more than the going rate, but she was worth it. I'll be in my office if you need me, I told her. Back by 10. I kissed Maya goodbye and took the private elevator down to the 3rd floor. My office overlooked the ocean. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Teak desk. I'd restored myself. Original Tiffany lamp I'd found at an estate sale. I settled in with my laptop and tried to focus on quarterly projections. My phone buzzed at 7:03 p.m. Luis, they've arrived. Your father just asked Gregor about meeting the owner. Said he'd love to discuss potential business opportunities. Me, what did Gregor say? Luis, that the owner is occupied this evening but sends her compliments on the occasion. Me, perfect. I went back to my spreadsheets. Revenue per available room. Seasonal adjustments. Occupancy forecasts for Q1. At 8:15, Luis texted again. Your sister asked how much the wine cellar cost to build. I told her it was a custom installation exceeding $300,000. She went very quiet. I smiled despite myself. At 8:47 my phone rang. Isabelle, I need authorization. Luis sounded strained. What happened? Your sister requested to extend their reservation. She wants to add the cigar lounge after dinner for an additional hour. I quoted the rate, $1,200 for the extended space, service and cigar selection. She asked if there was a family discount. I closed my eyes. What did you tell her? That I'd need to consult the owner. Standard rates apply. No exceptions. Understood. He hung up. I sat very still in my office chair. The building hummed around me with quiet life. I could hear faint music from somewhere below, the string quartet playing Vivaldi. I wondered if they were enjoying the 2005 Chateau Margaux I'd personally selected for tonight's menu pairing. 12 bottles at $340 each. I wondered if Dad had noticed the framed photograph in the wine cellar hallway. The ribbon-cutting ceremony from 3 years ago. Me holding oversized ceremonial scissors. Maya standing beside me in a yellow sundress, grinning at the camera. Probably not. At 9:23 p.m., someone knocked on my office door. Luis opened it. His expression was carefully neutral. We have a situation. I set down my pen. What kind of situation? Your father's party has been in the wine cellar for 2 hours and 17 minutes. They've ordered extensively from the reserve collection. The current bill is $8,340. Okay. Your sister just requested to move the party to the presidential suite for after-dinner drinks and cigars. I set down my pen very carefully. The presidential suite. Yes. Where my daughter is currently watching television with her babysitter. Correct. What exactly did she say? Luis pulled out his phone and read from his notes. She said, we'd like to move to the presidential suite for the final hour. We're willing to pay whatever premium is necessary. This is a significant family milestone and we want the best space in the building. And what did you tell her? That the presidential suite is occupied this evening. And? She asked by whom. She said, he paused. She said, whoever's in there can be relocated. We'll pay double their rate. This is my father's 60th birthday. Surely the owner would understand. Something cold and sharp settled in my chest. What did you say? That I would need to consult with the owner before making any changes to existing reservations. I stood up. Where is she now? Still in the wine cellar. But Isabelle, there's more. Your father has been asking questions all night. About the owner. About the property. About potential investment opportunities. One of his guests mentioned you work in property management and your father laughed. He laughed. He said, and I quote, Isabelle manages other people's problems for a living. She doesn't own anything. She can barely manage her own life. The words landed like a slap. I picked up my blazer from the back of my chair. I'm going down there. Are you certain about this? No. But I'm doing it anyway. The wine cellar occupied the entire lower level of the north wing. I designed it myself. Temperature-controlled glass walls showcasing 847 bottles. French limestone floors. Exposed brick. Custom lighting that made the whole space glow like an art installation. I took the stairs instead of the elevator. Needed the time to think. To breathe. My heels echoed on the original tile work. I stopped outside the entrance and smoothed my blazer. Black wool. Tailored. The one I wore to investor meetings and bank consultations. Paired with straight-leg trousers and simple heels. I looked like exactly what I was. Someone who owned things. I opened the door. The wine cellar was glowing. Candlelight reflecting off glass walls. 24 people seated around the long mahogany table I'd imported from France. Dad at the head, silver-haired and animated, holding court. Victoria beside him in emerald silk, laughing at something someone said. Marcus and his fiancée, a petite blonde in pearls, across from her. No one noticed me at first. I walked slowly toward where Gregor stood near the reserve cabinet. He saw me coming and straightened. Ms. Martinez, he said. Good evening. How's service tonight, Gregor? Exceptional. Your wine selections have been very well received. They're currently enjoying the 2005 Chateau Margaux. Excellent. Victoria's head snapped up at the sound of my voice. She stared. I turned and smiled at her. Hi, Victoria. The table went silent. All 24 people turned to look at me. Dad set down his wine glass slowly. Isabelle? What are you doing here? I work here. You work? I thought you managed apartments in the valley. No. Victoria stood up. Her face was confused. Then what are you doing in the wine cellar? The door opened behind me. Louis stepped in carrying a leather portfolio. His timing was perfect. Ms. Martinez, he said formally. The Q4 revenue reports you requested. And the acquisition prospectus for the San Diego expansion. He handed them to me. I didn't open them. Just held them. Dad was staring at me. Isabelle, I don't understand what's happening. Luis turned to address the entire table. His voice was professional, respectful. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the interruption. I'm Luis Ochoa, Director of Operations here at the Montecito Resort. I wanted to personally ensure that your evening has been flawless. He paused for just a beat. And to introduce you to the property owner. Ms. Isabelle Martinez. Complete and total silence. Victoria's wine glass slipped from her hand. It hit the edge of the table and tipped, spilling dark red Bordeaux across white linen like blood. She couldn't finish the sentence. I own the Montecito Resort, I said quietly. I've owned it for 3 years. Since March 2019. Purchase price was $4.2 million. Marcus leaned forward, his face pale. You own this entire building? Yes. The resort. The wine cellar. The rooms. All of it. Yes. Dad stood slowly. His napkin fell to the floor. His face had gone completely white. How is that possible? I bought it. The same way I bought my other 13 properties across Southern California. Victoria shook her head violently. You don't have that kind of money, Isabelle. You can't possibly. My current real estate portfolio is valued at approximately $11.3 million. After liabilities, my net worth is $4.7 million. You drive a Honda Civic, Victoria said. Her voice was shaking. I do. It's practical. Gets good gas mileage. Paid it off in 2015. You live in, she stopped. Her eyes went wide. Oh my God. In the presidential suite, I finished. Upstairs. Maya. My daughter. The one you called my childcare drama. The words hung in the air. Dad gripped the back of his chair. Maya is here. In this building. Yes. She's 7 years old. She lives here with me. This is her home. Has been for 3 years. One of Dad's business partners, a distinguished man in his 60s with silver hair, cleared his throat. Ms. Martinez, if I may say, this is an extraordinary property. The wine collection alone is museum quality. The architectural preservation is remarkable. Thank you. I worked with a master sommelier from Vienna to curate the collection. It took 18 months of acquisitions and approximately $280,000 in investment. The restoration work is exquisite. Original tile, original woodwork. Original 1920s craftsmanship. I oversaw the restoration personally in 2019 and 2020. Took nearly 14 months. He nodded slowly, appreciatively. Exceptional work. Truly exceptional. Victoria was still staring at me like I was a stranger. Why didn't you tell us? You never asked. That's not an answer. You let us believe you were struggling. You let us think you were barely making it. You let us, her voice cracked. I let you believe what you'd already decided, Victoria. That I'd ruin my life. That getting pregnant at 23 destroyed any chance I had at success. That I was the family embarrassment who needed to be managed and excluded from important events. We never said that. You wrote it on my invitation. Adults only, don't bring your drama. You meant my daughter. My 7-year-old daughter. She flinched like I'd slapped her. Marcus's fiancée spoke up. Her voice was soft, genuinely confused. I'm sorry, I don't understand. You own all this but you never mentioned it to your family? No. But why not? I looked at my father. He was staring at his hands, gripping the chair so hard his knuckles were white. Because I learned a long time ago that my family doesn't see me. They see the mistake I made when I was 23. They see the single mother who dropped out of UCLA. They see someone who doesn't fit their narrative of success. Someone to be excluded from birthday parties and holidays and family celebrations because I might embarrass them. Dad's voice was hoarse. Isabelle, that's not. You said it yourself tonight, Dad. Louise heard you. Isabelle manages other people's problems for a living. She doesn't own anything. She can barely manage her own life. Someone at this table laughed. His eyes closed. His whole body sagged. But here's the truth, I said. Kept my voice level. Calm. The way I'd practiced being calm for 7 years. I do own things. I own this resort. I own the building you're sitting in. I own the wine you're drinking. Every bottle in this cellar, I selected it. The limestone under your feet, I chose it. The quartet playing in the corner, I hired them. This entire experience you're having tonight, I created it. Victoria's face was wet with tears. If we'd known. If you'd known I was successful, you would have treated me differently. I understand that. That's not fair. It's exactly fair, Victoria. You excluded me because you thought I was a failure. Now you're upset because I'm not. Marcus spoke carefully. That's not entirely accurate, Isabelle. We excluded you because... He stopped. Because of Maya, I finished. Because having a child makes me inconvenient. Because single motherhood doesn't photograph well at your carefully curated events. Because my daughter, my beautiful, smart, funny daughter, is drama you don't need. No one argued. No one could. I turned to Luis. What's their final bill? He checked his tablet. $8,340. Including the reserve wines and premium service package. Comp it. The entire evening. Victoria's eyes went wide. What? Comp the entire evening. Dinner, wine, service, gratuity, everything. It's Dad's 60th birthday. Consider it a gift from me. Dad stepped toward me. His voice was breaking. Isabelle, you don't have to. I want to. But I need you to understand something first. I looked around the table. 24 faces watching me. Some sympathetic. Some shocked. Some embarrassed. Everything I've built. Every property, every investment, every single success. I accomplished while being told I'd destroyed my future. While raising my daughter alone. While working 80-hour weeks and learning to tile bathrooms and negotiate with contractors who thought I was stupid because I was young and female and had a baby. While you all decided I wasn't worth including in the family story because I didn't fit your image of success. Victoria was openly crying now. Real ugly tears. We're so sorry. I know you are. No. Now that you know what I'm worth in dollars. That's not. It is exactly that, Victoria. You're sorry because I own a resort. You weren't sorry last week when you thought I managed studio apartments. You weren't sorry when you wrote, "Don't bring your drama," on my invitation. You weren't sorry when you excluded me from Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter and every other family event for the past 7 years. Dad moved toward me. His hands were shaking. Isabelle, please. Let me explain. I thought I was protecting you. I thought if I could make you be realistic, lower your expectations, you wouldn't get hurt chasing impossible dreams. You were the one hurting me, Dad. I see that now. I see it so clearly now His voice broke completely. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. Enjoy your dinner. Stay as long as you'd like. The wine cellar is yours until midnight. Everything's been taken care of. I turned toward the door. Wait. Victoria's voice cracked like breaking glass. Please. Can we talk? Tomorrow? Please, Isabelle. I stopped at the door. Didn't turn around. Maybe. When you're ready to see me as a person, not as a problem you solved by excluding me. When you're ready to meet your niece as a human being instead of as drama to be managed. I walked out. Luis followed me into the hallway. That was... I know. Are you okay? Ask me in a week. He handed me a bottle of water. I drank half of it in one go. Your sister requested to come to the presidential suite, he said quietly. To talk to you tonight. What did you tell her? That I'd ask you first. I finished the water. Tell her no. Not tonight. Maybe next week. Maybe not. I'll let her know when I'm ready. Understood. I took the elevator back to the presidential suite. Maria looked up from her textbook when I walked in. You're back earlier than I expected. How's Maya? Perfect angel. She fell asleep around 8:30. I paid Maria double her usual rate and thanked her. After she left, I went to Maya's room. She was curled up under white hotel linens, dark hair spread across the pillow like a halo. Her stuffed rabbit was tucked under her arm. She was breathing softly, evenly, completely at peace. I sat on the edge of her bed and watched her sleep. My daughter. My beautiful daughter who'd never done anything wrong except be born to a mother who got pregnant at the wrong time. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. A text from Dad. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. I mean that with everything I have. I'm so incredibly sorry. I looked at the message for a long time. Then I set the phone face down and didn't reply. I woke up the next morning to 19 missed calls. 14 from Victoria. 3 from Dad. 2 from Marcus. I made coffee in the suite's kitchen and sat on the balcony. The ocean was calm. Gray-blue under morning clouds. Seagulls circled and cried overhead. Maya wandered out around 8, dragging her stuffed rabbit. Her hair was a mess. She was still in her pajamas. Morning, baby. Morning, Mama. She climbed into my lap without asking. Can we have pancakes? We can have anything you want. We ordered room service. Chocolate chip pancakes with whipped cream for her. Greek yogurt and fresh berries for me. We ate on the balcony while the sun burned through the marine layer. My phone rang. Victoria. I thought about ignoring it. Then I answered. Isabelle. Her voice sounded wrecked. Destroyed. Please. I need to talk to you. I'm having breakfast with Maya. I know. Can I come up? For 5 minutes? Please, Isabelle, I'm begging you. I looked at my daughter. She was trying to feed a piece of pancake to her stuffed rabbit, completely content in her own world. 10 minutes, I said. That's all. She arrived in 7 minutes. I'd never seen Victoria without makeup before. Her eyes were red and swollen. Hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. She was wearing yoga pants and an old sweatshirt. She looked younger. Smaller. Vulnerable. I let her in but didn't invite her to sit down. She stood in the entryway of the presidential suite and turned in a slow circle. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Ocean panorama stretching to infinity. White marble and warm teak wood. Fresh flowers on every surface. The kind of space that rents for $1,800 per night to celebrities and tech executives. You live here, she said. It wasn't a question. I do. With Maya. Yes. She turned to face me. Her eyes were red. I've been horrible to you. Yes. For years. For so many years. Yes. I don't even, her voice broke. I don't know why. You got pregnant. So what? That doesn't define you. That doesn't make you less than anyone. It doesn't make Maya less than anyone. But I treated you like you were broken. Like you were something to be ashamed of. You did, I said quietly. I think I was jealous, she whispered. Of what? Of how you didn't need anyone's approval. You had Maya and you built this incredible life and you didn't care what Dad thought or what I thought or what anyone thought. You just did what you needed to do and you succeeded anyway. I did care, Victoria. I wanted you to be proud of me. I wanted Dad to see that I was okay. More than okay. We should have seen it. We should have asked. We should have. She covered her face with her hands. How do I fix this? Please tell me there's a way to fix this. I looked at her for a long moment. My sister, who I used to share a bedroom with, who taught me to ride a bike, who held my hair back when I had the flu in 8th grade, who wrote "Don't bring your drama" on my invitation. I don't know if you can fix it, I said honestly. Please. There has to be something. You start seeing me, Victoria. Actually seeing me. Not the version you decided I was 7 years ago. You meet Maya. You get to know her. You ask questions. You show up. Not when it's convenient. Not when you need something. Not now that you know what I'm worth. You just show up because we're family. I can do that. Can you? I want to try. I want to try so badly. I studied her face. No makeup. No performance. No carefully constructed image. Just my sister stripped down to something honest and raw and real. Okay, I said finally. We'll try. Dad came the next day. Sunday afternoon. I almost didn't let him in. But Maya was coloring in her room and I thought she should meet her grandfather. Even if he didn't deserve it. He stood in the living area of the presidential suite and turned in a slow circle, taking it all in. Isabelle. I don't even have words. Thank you. How long have you been doing this? Building a real estate portfolio, running hotels, acquiring properties. How long? Since Maya was 2 years old. He did the math. His face went gray. 7 years. You've been doing this for 7 years. Yes. Building an empire. And I had no idea. We had no idea. You never asked, Dad. He sat down heavily on the white couch. His hands were shaking. I called you a failure. Many times. I said you'd ruined your life. The night I told you I was pregnant. You said it 3 times in 10 minutes. I counted. I thought. His voice broke. I thought I was protecting you. I thought if I could make you lower your expectations, be realistic, you wouldn't get hurt chasing dreams that were too big. You were the one hurting me. I see that now. He looked up at me. Tears on his face. Your mother would be so proud of you. The words hit like a physical blow. Mom died when I was 19. Ovarian cancer. 6 months from diagnosis to death. She never met Maya. Never saw what I built. Don't use her, I said. I'm not. I swear I'm not. It's just true. She would look at what you've accomplished and she would be so incredibly proud of the woman you've become. You don't get to decide that. He nodded, accepting it. You're right. I'm sorry. We sat in silence for a long moment. Robert Chin, I said finally. Your business partner from last night. Yes. He owns Chin Properties. Commercial development. Strip malls, parking structures, some mixed-use buildings. You know him. I've been tracking his portfolio for 8 months. He has 3 properties I'm interested in acquiring. 2 in San Bernardino, 1 in Riverside. Combined value approximately $6.8 million. Dad stared at me. You're planning to buy from him? If the terms are favorable, yes. I'm prepared to make an offer within the next 30 days. Those properties are worth. I know exactly what they're worth. I've completed full financial analysis. Cash flow projections. Comparable sales data. ROI calculations. I pulled up a spreadsheet on my tablet and handed it to him. I'm prepared to offer $6.8 million. I'll finance 60% through my commercial lender and cover the remaining 40% with equity from my existing portfolio. He scrolled through the data. His expression shifted from shock to something that looked like awe. This is sophisticated financial analysis. It's what I do, Dad. It's what I've been doing for 7 years. I thought you managed apartments for other people. You thought wrong. He set down the tablet carefully. Let me invest. In whatever you're building next. Let me be part of this. Please. I don't need your money. I'm not offering because you need it. I'm offering because I want to support you. Because I want to be part of your success. I shook my head. I don't think that's a good idea. Why not? Because I don't trust you yet, Dad. Because you spent 7 years telling me I'd failed. Because you didn't want your granddaughter at your birthday party. Because you laughed when someone mentioned I work in property management. I kept my voice steady. Because I built this empire without you. Without your money. Without your approval. Without your validation. I don't need you to invest. I just need you to see me. His eyes filled with tears. I see you now. God, Isabelle, I see you now. Do you? Or do you just see the dollar amount? The portfolio value. He flinched. Come back in 6 months, I said. Show me you can see Maya as a person, not as my mistake. Show me you can see me as your daughter, not as a business opportunity you missed. Then we'll talk about investments. He stood slowly. 6 months. If you're serious. I am, Isabelle. I promise you I am. I walked him to the door. He paused with his hand on the handle. Can I say goodbye to Maya? Please? I'd really like to meet her. I hesitated. Then nodded. 5 minutes. I called Maya from her room. She came out cautiously, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Dad knelt down to her level. Hi, sweetheart. I'm your grandfather. Maya looked at me. I nodded. She looked back at him, studying his face. Okay. I'd like to get to know you better. Would that be okay with you? She considered this with the seriousness only a 7-year-old can manage. Do you like pancakes? He smiled. Looked like it hurt. I love pancakes. And cartoons. I could learn to love cartoons. He thought about it. Okay then. Thank you, Maya. That means a lot to me. After he left, Maya climbed back into my lap on the couch. Was that really my grandpa? Yes. He seems sad. He is. He made some mistakes. Are you going to forgive him? I kissed her forehead. I don't know yet, baby. We'll see. 3 weeks later, Victoria invited us to lunch. Not at a restaurant. At her apartment in West Hollywood. She cooked. Or tried to. The chicken was burned on the outside and raw in the middle. The rice was undersalted and overcooked. The vegetables were mushy. Maya thought it was hilarious. We sat at Victoria's dining table. Maya, Victoria, and me, and ate terrible food and talked about nothing important. School and books and a movie Victoria wanted to see. Felt almost normal. Almost like having a sister. At the end of the meal, Victoria pulled out a gift bag. For Maya. I don't know if she'll like it, but I saw it and thought of her. Maya opened it carefully. Inside was a book. A chapter book, age appropriate. The Wild Robot by Peter Brown. I love this one. Maya said, her whole face lighting up. My teacher read it to our class last year. Victoria's entire expression transformed. You do? Really? Yeah. It's about a robot who lives on an island with animals and she has to learn to be a mother to a baby goose. It's really good. I'm so glad. I wasn't sure. Thank you, Aunt Victoria. I watched my sister's face when Maya called her that. Like something inside her was breaking and healing at the same time. 6 months passed. Dad came to Sunday breakfast every single week. He sat with Maya and me in the presidential suite and ate room service pancakes and asked questions. What Maya was reading. What I was working on. How my properties were performing. What Maya wanted to be when she grew up. He never missed a week. Not once. He met Maya's teacher at parent night. He came to her school concert and sat in the front row. He sent her postcards from business trips. Silly ones with pictures of landmarks and dad jokes written on the back. Slowly, carefully, he became her grandfather. Victoria started calling on Wednesdays. Just to talk. No agenda. No crisis. No favors. Just conversation. She asked about my work. She asked for advice about a condo she was thinking of buying. She asked what Maya's favorite color was so she could buy her birthday present. She listened to my answers. Slowly, carefully, she became my sister again. When Marcus and Emily got married in June, we were invited. Not as an afterthought. As family. Maya was a junior bridesmaid in pale pink. She took her responsibilities extremely seriously, practicing her walk down the aisle for 3 days before the wedding. At the reception, Emily found me at the bar. Your father talks about you constantly. About you and Maya. He showed me pictures of the Montecito Resort. It's absolutely stunning. Thank you. He's different now. Softer. More present. Victoria says you changed him. I shook my head. He changed himself. I just stopped hiding who I was. 1 year after Dad's 60th birthday party, I closed on the Chin properties. $6.8 million. Commercial financing at a favorable rate. Dad asked if he could attend the closing. Not to invest. Not to offer advice. Just to witness it. I said yes. We sat in the title company conference room. Lawyers on both sides. Title officers. Stacks of documents that needed signatures. When I signed the final page, my portfolio grew from 14 properties to 17. My net worth crossed $7.2 million. When it was done, Dad hugged me. Your mother would be so proud. I know I keep saying it, but it's true. This time I let him say it. This time it didn't hurt. I'm writing this from the presidential suite at the Montecito Resort. Maya is 9 now. She has her own room here, decorated exactly how she wants it. Purple walls and fairy lights and posters of her favorite books. She knows we own this building. She knows we own 16 other buildings too. She knows her mother works hard and built something from nothing. Last month, Victoria asked if I'd consider partnering with her on a small investment property. A duplex in Culver City. Nothing massive. Just a first step into real estate for her. I said yes. Dad texts me every morning now. Usually something simple. Good morning, sweetheart. thinking of you and Maya. So proud of you both. I read every single one. We have dinner once a month. All of us. Dad, Victoria, Marcus, Emily, Maya, and me. We rotate locations. Sometimes at the Montecito. Sometimes at Victoria's apartment. Sometimes at Dad's house in Brentwood. It's not perfect. There are still moments when someone says something that lands wrong. When old patterns surface. When I remember the years of being invisible. But it's real. And it's ours. The door's not locked. But it has a lock now. And I'm the one holding the key. I hadn't stopped being their family. I just stopped auditioning for it. Now they know where to find me. In the presidential suite. In the owner's office. In the 2009 Honda Civic with 160,000 miles that I still drive to the grocery store. Living the life I built. With my daughter. On my terms. Maya asked me last week why I still drive the Civic when I could afford any car I want. Because it reminds me where I started, I told her. And because I don't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. He thought about that. Not even to yourself? Especially not to myself, baby. I already know what I'm worth. She smiled. Yeah. You do. We don't have to go anywhere we're not wanted. We never did. And now everyone knows it.